Wham bam, thank you ma'am. It is December 18th, Thursday, 2025. Welcome to the Hat and Beard Show. I'm your host, Hat and Beard. Today we have up for you, first and foremost, Thursday night, which means we have hopefully not a slop fest. We know that historically Thursday nights have been sloppy. You don't get prime product on prime time where you got to pay a prime price for a subpar product. Now, the contrary to that is, of course, the Cowboys and Lions game a couple weeks back, topped in at 22.18 peak viewers, 22.18 million peak viewers, which is a record for prime football, but then they followed up a slop fest last week, early on in the season. Slop fest. Prime has not been good, but Thursday night tonight, there is a big game. Like, I don't care about it because I'm not a Seattle Seabags fan. And, as a Lions fan, I am so sick and tired of hearing any and everything to do with the LA Rams and Matt Stafford, especially after last week with that, that Colby Parkinson touchdown that is in no way ever going to be a touchdown unless you're playing the Detroit Lions. But we got the Rams and Seahawks. Big game. Big game. 3 must-know storylines for Thursday's Week 16 primetime game. Eric Ed Holmes got an article here for us. We will skim through and look at our girl, Jamie Erdahl. She's so happy that you are here. Look how happy she is. She's happy. She's shocked. She's startled and surprised that you're here. And you haven't hit the subscribe button yet. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Then over here, we will be talking about the other breaking news. Not so important news, but people want to talk about it. Dolphins benching, struggling. Tua Tagovailoa after a rough performance versus Steelers. Reports Quinn Ewers will be the new starting quarterback for the Fish down in Miami. And that's a very interesting thing. Honestly, at this point, I think they're just throwing mud at a wall. Or, you know what, maybe you come to find out, you remember last year when we didn't know that Amon-Ra had a leg injury until later on in the season. Maybe the whole reason Tua's season has been absolutely trash. Not only is Miami a dumpster fire of an organization that has terrible leadership, even though I am a fan of Mike McDaniel, the GM set him up to fail. Did not make necessary acquisitions, and then we've seen a bit of a fire sale from the Miami Dolphins there at the trade deadline, i.e. Jalen Phillips, who the Lions couldn't get their dirty little dick beaters on. Maybe Tua's just had some type of underlying injury that has been hindering him, kneecapping him in some capacity, and maybe now they're just trying to protect their asset because this is very interesting. Tua's into his first year of like a 180 over $4 million contract. So this is a interesting financial move considering all that is invested into Tua Tagovailoa. We will peruse that as well as take your vibes and see what you're feeling about this article here by Ryan Cranfield over at Fox News. Slap like if you enjoy the content we are providing for you here today, or that we will be providing for you here today. Then we're going to go ahead and turn our attention northward to the 313 in the Motor City. We got to talk about our hometown Detroit Lions. Now, there is an obscene amount of pressure put on the Lions. We have not been in control of our destiny. Let's be honest, really since the Chiefs loss, right? That's when, at least in my very humble, gingery opinion, the NFL decided to go ahead and make choices for us that we could not counter in any capacity and just had an uphill fight. The Lions have done absolutely everything in their power-ish. Yes, moves should have been made at the trade deadline. Brad Holmes really fumbled the bag there. They've done everything they can, and this isn't necessarily a complete dumpster fire of a season, just not what we were expecting. We had Super Bowl aspirations, and it's kind of starting to feel like we're maybe not make the playoffs, especially when you hear things. Here we are, and here I am in my driveway, at my mailbox, in my yard, with egg on my face. Your boy here, I was so high. I like David Montgomery. I always have. I liked him as a prospect coming out of Iowa State, and I hated that the Bears got their hands on him because when I seen David Montgomery play, I seen flashes of a slight hybrid between Cedric Benson and Matt Forte, and I was like, shit, this is not going to go well. And then after he left Chicago, villains. And Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes were able to bring David Montgomery over here. We've seen the historic performance between the two running backs, at least as far as touchdowns is concerned. However, shout out the chat here at Mad Hatter Nation, and maybe Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell are starting to listen to us over here. We have been beating the war drum 4 weeks now. Bring forth David Montgomery. Bring on the Monty. Hell, even my own mother is out here advocating for him to play at left guard in some capacity because he can block better, pass block better than half the guys, at least in the reserve role from time to time. You know, he's at least better than Colby Sorsdahl ever could have been. That's for dang sure. And Jahmyr Gibbs, no jab against him, but it almost feels like maybe we had to his attribute points are already maxed out, so we had to take some away from a skill set. So maybe to uptick his route running and his wide receiver skill set, maybe we had to take a little bit about a pass pro. And we've seen Jahmyr Gibbs a few times this year get absolutely flattened, a reverse pancake, if you were. We'll call him a waffle. He got waffled. He basically got waffle stomped. If you know what waffle stomping is, that's gross. But we've been wondering where David Montgomery is, and I personally kind of concerning why it's Week 16. And Lions coach Dan Campbell addresses decrease in David Montgomery usage. Dan Campbell knows the Lions running back David Montgomery isn't getting the touches he needs or deserves, and he's been thinking of solutions. Really? Week 16? You're just now going, man, maybe we should get David Montgomery more involved. You know, I've noticed more times than not, guys, tell me if, let me know, coaches, Mad Hatter Nation, we seem to have a little bit more success when alternating backs and are allowing both of the backs to do what they do ever so well. In complement of one another, right? David Montgomery. Look, I know David Montgomery gets the knuckles, the hammer, the pounding, bruising physical back. He's very athletic, though, right? But yes, use David Montgomery as a nice little meat tenderizer. Weaken that defense up, and then just break them loose with Jahmyr Gibbs. It's not complicated, and it's starting to concern me that something that is very not complicated has taken us until Week 16 to get here. But we will discuss that. We are then going to quickly skim through Christian Mahogany. Hopefully Lions hopeful starting left guard can return versus Steelers, and what a boost that would be if we could get old Seabags back up here, rocking and rolling. That'd be a nice little obviously, it's not the solution. It's not gonna suddenly fix Frank Ragnow's retirement and make Taylor Decker's shoulder get better and play at a higher rate than he's ever played at his career. But it is a step up. No slight. I like both of the guys, Tristan Cologne and Miles Frazier. Both have played relatively well at times. Both have played relatively poorly at times. And I think you guys know I am, although props to you, not a fan of Keadi Awashika. So, you know, the less he's out there with his nose 17 feet out over his toes, getting absolutely abused in pass pro, the better. Christian Mahogany, personally, big fan Christian Mahogany. Newest father, went to college, beat Zelda, got the Triforce. Very impressive individual. And then finally, we bid adieu. And we wave goodbye to a hat and beard favorite. Personally, good on you. You know, if you can take the opportunity, well, dude, seize that opportunity, grab it by the horns, and don't let go. Erick Hallett, that's right, guys. Erick Hallett has been poached by an AFC team. Not going to a necessarily better situation, but going to a situation where he's pretty much guaranteed to be the starter, at least for the duration of the season. So good on you, Erick Hallett. We will skim through that briefly. Mad Hatter Nation, there is a poll up in the chat. Are these Lions adjustments signs of smart coaching or deeper issues heading into Week 16? 25% of you say smart, and 75% of us say, what the fuck has Monty been this season? Where is David Montgomery? Mad Hatter Nation, we will get to all of your chats and more. Make sure that you do all the buttons and bells. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Ring that notification bell so you can be notified every single time we go live Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. here at youtube.com, as well as before every single Detroit Lions game. We have a digital tailgate, a little pregame show where we hang out with you guys and just kind of shoot the shit, see any breaking stories, anything new that's coming out, and just kind of get a little hyped up about the game. Yeah. Hit that copium pipe real hard on the copium. Let's go, guys. Like the video, share this around with all of your friends, and we're going to go ahead and get into it now.
If you can say the word good, guess what? It means you're still alive. It means you're still breathing. And if you're still breathing, well, then hell, you still got some fight left in you. So get up, dust off, reload, recalibrate, re-engage, and go out on the attack.
All right, guys, real quick shout out. I'm trying to not get too bogged down in the chat at the beginning of the show, so I don't want you guys to think that I'm ignoring you, but we're trying to kind of put the chat and beard situation kind of at the back end, so don't lose everybody at the beginning. But I do want to say real quick, Rick C, that is awesome. God is great. Shout out. Cheers. Awesome possum news, brother. What a fucking awesome Christmas miracle that is, dude. That is great to hear, Rick C. I am absolutely, that's dope, dude. That's dope, dude. I hope the results are absolutely perfecto, perfecto. You know, blessings everywhere, dude. That is awesome, brother. That is absolutely awesome. So, tonight we got the Rams and Seahawks in a Thursday night prime time slop fest. It won't be a slop fest. These teams are better than most teams that typically get playing on the Thursday night, but they are coming on a short week. And not only are they coming off of a short week, but this game has massive playoff implications for both organizations. I think the Seahawks outperforming a little bit more than where most people kind of projected them to be. The Rams, yeah, well, whatever. That's what happens when you control a major media market. I think the big surprise, but when your team's completely decimated by injuries the way the Niners were, Niners not really being the upper echelon of the NFC West, it's really running away, is more of a two-horse race. But you know what? Sans San Francisco, sans Detroit Lions, everything kind of feels the same, right? This is probably the most significant Thursday night game of the season with the NFC West and conference's top seed up for grabs with two top 3 scoring defenses facing 2 top 5 scoring offenses. It shapes up as a true heavyweight battle with a ton at stake. The Rams' are 21-19 victory in their first matchup was a dogfight. Sam Darnold threw 4 interceptions, but he also had the Seahawks a few yards away from potentially winning it. That's now the backdrop for an exciting and consequential matchup that will have a massive effect on the NFC playoff. Field is shaped. A massive effect, a mass effect. Who will be Commander Shepard and take advantage of the mass effect? Who will repel the Reaper invasion and turn back the recycling of I'm just kidding. I played way too much Mass Effect, y'all. I played way too much Mass Effect. 3 must-know storyline. Sam Darnold hopes to rebound from last game. As you guys know, in Week 11, he threw 4 interceptions, 3 in the second half, and it absolutely was the Achilles heel, and it crippled him. You know, hopefully this game, Sam Darnold, you know, if he wants to win, he's going to have to get the ball to Jackson Smith and Jigba and A.J. Barner. They had busy games in Week 11 with 11 targets and 10 catches. That's pretty insane. Now, don't forget Cooper Kupp's still there, and they did bring in Rashid Shaheed at the trade deadline, kind of bolstering, doing something that other teams maybe in the NFC North who are kind of in a Honolulu blue and silver jersey. You know, Brad, with your big Yakub brain brother, I'm saying here, man, is maybe you need to make a trade at the deadline to get yourself over the edge. You know what I'm saying? And that's exactly what the Seahawks did, giving more weapons to their already relatively electric and dynamic offense at the time with the first year Sam Darnold being there. That's pretty impressive. Sam Darnold, what a career resurgence Sam Darnold's had. Not a fan of Sam Darnold, but it is what it is, and they're going to try and rebound on this. Number one, though, obviously, Darnold hopes to rebound from the last game against the Rams where he threw 4 interceptions, and the Seahawks are also going to desperately hope that the refs are not on the payroll of the LA Rams like they were last Sunday. Number 2, potentially, Devontae Les Rams still boast firepower elsewhere. That's right. Matt Stafford is among MVP favorites heading into the final 3 games of the season, but he might be without star Devontae Adams, who aggravated a hamstring last Sunday against the Lions. That's right. Devontae, you guys remember it? He came up, almost spilled my coffee everywhere, dude. He came up lame, run on a route, and it was rough to see. You hate to see guys just come up like that. It's pretty brutal. But, and the reality is Matt Stafford didn't really seem to miss Devontae Adams all that much. Puka is out there being Puka Nacua. And when you have a really, really, really good, and the Lions are kind of in that same boat. You got a pretty electrifying running game. The Rams have a really good offensive line. They have two wide receivers who could both be number ones on any team elsewhere. You know what I mean? Just like Detroit with Amon-Ra and Jamo. They also, I don't want to say Colby Parkinson is all that great, but the Rams have a massive advantage over the Seattle Seahawks, and that is the Rams are able to score touchdowns when they're a full yard, bordering on a yard and a half away from the end zone, and don't complete the catch, let alone get across the goal line. So not only do the Seahawks have, this like a little bit of a disadvantage there, but the Rams have a massive advantage, even without Devontae Adams being there, having the ability for Colby Parkinson to essentially, if the ball is thrown anywhere within his vicinity, it's called a catch. And if he is on the opposing team's side of the 50-yard line, the refs are just going to call it a touchdown. So they have a massive advantage there. Hopefully the Seahawks can kind of overcome that. And number 3, don't overlook the power S of Seattle's defense. Yes, the Rams are a potent offense, averaging 30 points per game, but the Seahawks defense will be a stiff test. Make sure that they have taken all of the blue chews prior to the game. They have allowed a mere 25 points over the past 3 games and only 1 touchdown in that span. That's very, very good. Very, very impressive. I will admit the touchdown came off 2 interceptions, spanning 3 and 25 yards, respectively, after the first quarter. Prior meeting, the Rams totaled 105 yards on 8 possessions and had a long gain of 19 yards. Yes, but that was the last game. And between weeks 11 and 16 here, the Rams have shown significant growth, namely in their ability to have the referees impact the outcome of the game. So not only do the Seahawks, have a few more injuries, but they also have to overcome last game where they're already playing a game behind, right? Hopefully Sam Darnold can perform well. But Colby Parkinson has the magician ability to score a touchdown plus 50, that side of the 50-yard line. Matt Stafford, I don't know if you guys know this, but he never knew how to throw a pass. He had never understood or comprehended how to throw a ball with his dominant hand. Apparently he was throwing it backwards or shooting it out of his ass with his non-dominant hand the entire time he was in Detroit. He's an MVP contention, which is awesome. But there's just a lot going for and against Seattle, a lot to overcome, especially because as it feels right now, LA, major media market, the industry wants to be behind them. So big uphill fight for the Seattle Seahawks. Hopefully they could win, but maybe don't put too much emphasis on it because we're not saying the NFL is scripted, but the outcome of the games are generally predetermined. Speaking of other NFL news and things that could be strange, did anybody see this one really coming? Was this in the script? Was this in? Did anybody have Tua getting benched in Week 16 on their bingo sheet? Personally, I would have. My bingo sheet had Mike McDaniel being fired over Tua getting benched. Namely because I want Mike McDaniel to be our next offensive coordinator. If that's the route we go, if it's not going to be Hank Fraley. But the Dolphins bench struggling Tua Tagovailoa after a rough performance versus Steelers. Quinn Ewers will reportedly be the new starting quarterback for the Fish down in South Florida. Ooh, I bet it's nice down there. Rain coming in about 3.5 hours here. What's the temperature down there in Miami? I bet it's really nice down there. It's actually, guys, full disclosure, I actually have the window open a little bit, about an inch and a half. I got it open about an inch and a half, letting a little fresh air in here because it's like 40 some degrees out. Oh man. But every time it gets warm like this, and you guys know this up here north, whenever it gets warm like this and all that snow, I start singing a song. I just go, "Here comes the mud, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the mud, and I said, it's all right." You know what I'm saying? So Miami has reportedly made a major change at the quarterback position. The Dolphins are benching Tua after the team struggled with a 28-15 loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers on Monday, according to multiple reports. Quinn Ewers, a 7th-round pick from Texas in the 2025 draft, is reportedly slated to take over And this is where it gets very interesting. This is why I would have been much more in the camp on my bingo card of Mike McDaniel being fired. And I don't have anything against Mike McDaniel. I think he's really funny. He cracks me up. He seems like a really, really fun guy. But the move is stunning, as Tagovailoa is in the first season of a 4-year, $212 million contract extension that he signed in July of 2024 with a $167 million guaranteed amount. I'm going to be very, very blunt with you guys. I have nothing against Tua Tagovailoa. I think he's very overrated. I didn't think he was all that, let alone all of that, and a bag of potato chips at Alabama. I think he will unjustly bump Jalen Hurts from the roster. And I never seen all this greatness out of him. That I think what people really seen was a really good left-handed quarterback and got overly fascinated by it. The NFL is skewed to be more Tua-friendly, but I didn't think he was all that great, and I definitely didn't think he was worth a $212 million contract extension. That was like, wow, wee-wah, what? But you know what? Miami's going to Miami, and this is decisions that they're going to have to live with. That's a lot of money tied up in one guy. Again, I have nothing against Tua. I just didn't think he was all that great. Now, the numbers might disagree with me. The contract was signed after Tua led the NFL in passing with 4,600 yards in 2023. So a lot, but not – look, 4 to 4,600. Look, I'm going to be honest. It's pretty normal. I grew up in the era of 5,000 passing yards a season, right? We've seen it happen once. A guy did it one time. And then like 6 dudes did it the following year. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to get all gung-ho over that. He led the NFL in completion percentage with 72.9, which is pretty good, although he only played in just 11 games. So the sample size was, what, 2/3 of the season? Ooh, wow. This season, the former Alabama quarterback leads the NFL in interceptions with 15. That's pretty good considering Kirby Joseph hasn't been available in the NFL to wreak havoc, and I don't think we played Miami. Tua struggled in 14 games and has completed 67% of his passes for 2,600 yards with 20 touchdowns and 15 interceptions. Ooh, trending into famous Jameis stats, huh? Yes, very good. The Dolphins are now out of playoff contention. They started 2-7, but they won 4 of their prior games heading into the matchup on Monday, keeping their slim playoff hopes alive until Monday, but the loss dropped them to 6-8 and out of playoff contention. So maybe, I don't know, man, maybe trying to see what they got in Quinn Ewers, maybe trying to figure out if he's some trade bait material. Personally, I would be more in the belief that maybe there's some type of injury with Tua, maybe there's some type of ding on him, that they're just like, hey, shut it down, bro. There's no sense in even risking a biscuit, you know what I'm saying? Matt Hatternage, I just took a little look over here. Rick, yeah, dude, you're welcome. I have a bad habit of singing songs that get stuck in people's heads. Glad you ain't a slappy, bro. I've been enjoying the lives. Heck yeah, Bobby Stark, Geronimo. My bad, Bobby. I hope it's cool if I just call you Bobby Stark, dude. I can't. I don't know how. Is it Yaramillo? Yaramillo, appreciate it, dude. Look, man. I try to not be a slappy, bro. I'm just like out here living life, just calling it like I see it, dude. There's no reason to suckle on a teat of nobody. I don't get paid, bro. I don't get paid by nobody. And even if I did, I ain't gonna just like suck on their dick, dude. Fuck all that shit, bro. I'm in my car window. Man, Mr. Detroit City. You over there with your fucking warm weather down there in sunny Florida, dude. Yes. The ball thing, yeah. People are at the beaches down there. Man. Yeah, Brandy, the snow is melting here, which means here comes the mud. Here comes the mud. Doo-doo-doo-doo. What's up, Feast Mode 24? Rams got the refs on their side. Hopefully Seattle crowd can keep them on edge. Hell yeah, dude, that 12th man might be, maybe, man. I don't know, dude. Like, yeah, I'm hoping that Seattle wins because fuck the Rams, dude. But, look, reality is what reality is. I'm really kind of leaning into the narrative that the NFL wants to have. I'm so sorry that I cannot remember which one of you guys said it. My bad. It don't take offense to it. I just cannot remember, but it is really ringing in my head about the NFL wants to have Matt Stafford versus Aaron Rodgers, the two old gunslingers for the Super Bowl, and then they're both just going to retire. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, dude, Rick, that's kind of the big thing that I have. Like, I'm not like anti-Tua, but what I do get really salty on my nuts about is when people are like, Tua is better than Goff. And I'm like, oh, okay, sure. I bet you like Candace Owens. You know what I'm saying? Rams ain't losing a game for the rest of the year. Rick, I would be more inclined to believe that. I would be more inclined to believe that the Rams aren't going to lose a game the rest of the year than to believe anything Candace Owens says. You know what I'm saying? I got to quit bringing that up. Hey, shout out American Boxer. Montgomery in the backfield is the answer for giving Goff time in the pocket. Well, would you look at that? Lions coach Dan Campbell addresses decrease in David Montgomery usage. Wish we'd have seen this in week 6, not week 16. But I mean, I guess, look, okay. Here's a solution. I understand Jahmyr Gibbs is very, very good. I am one of the people who's starting to have the conversation of, is Jahmyr Gibbs possibly going to surpass Barry Sanders in terms of all-time greatness? Put your pitchforks down. I know it's very early, but he's a very special player, and I like watching him play football. He's very nice to watch him play football. However, that being said, I do mean how and ever. I mean but, comma, and everything you say after but means nothing. B-U-T-T, comma. The answer to increase David Montgomery's usage, you put him on the field more. Hey, there's a novel idea. Maybe you just put him on the field more. I know that this is week 16 and it's the back end and you're trying to figure out everything you can do to get into the playoffs. I mean, hell, look, we don't even go for it. I don't feel like we go for it on 4th down anymore, really. You know, I mean, that seems to be gone out the window. We were kicking field goals, right? Look, last game, this is no slight to Jake Bates, but he did miss a field goal, right? Now, we could sit here and have the whole, well, if, then, grandma wagon candies and nuts and Merry Christmases. Well, if we had a gun for it, we could have scored a touchdown. And it was a 1-touchdown game. So, you know, everybody that wanted to have all of these, Dan Campbell needs to take the points. And, you know, if we'd have kicked the field goal, we'd have won this game. We'd have won that game. Well, I can flip that conversation completely on its head and go, well, we did kick the field goal. Jake Bates, unfortunately, I love Jake Bates. Been following him since the UFL. Jake Bates missed it. Maybe if we'd have gone for it on 4th down, maybe we would have scored. Maybe it's all ifs and buts and candies and nuts. And if my grandma had been born with wheels, she'd have been a wagon, right? So we have seen a little bit of a change in Dan Campbell. However, the change that we wanted to see doesn't seem to be having much of effect. And the other change that we know we need to see has taken us until week 16 to get here. What is going on with the offensive game plan? And why does Johnny Moe still have a fucking job? Okay? If he's the reason, who? Free Monty. Free Monty. Hashtag free Monty. Hashtag get me a DeLorean so that I can go back in time to week 6 and start the hashtag free Monty movement. Free Monty. Free Monty. Free Monty. Free my guy Monty. It's very simple. Drive 1, you go with back A. Drive 2, you go with back B. Oh, then drive 3, you go with back A. Oh my gosh. Drive 4, you go with back B. Now, here you go. This is where you can really spice it up. All right. You've gone A, B, A, B, A, B. Now you're going to go B. B, A, B, A, B. You see what I'm saying? Or, Lord help you, you know, novel idea. You really want to play games? With opposing defenses? You really want to create mismatches against linebackers? Try putting them both on the field at the same time. Oh, shit! Ha, ha, ha! Ha, ha! Somebody call SpaceX to get me a fucking job because I'm apparently a fucking genius. Oh, my God. You know you can put them both on the field at the same time? It's called two-back sets. Yeah. People have been doing it for a long time. Long time. You really? All right, here we go. I'm going to split some hairs with Dan Campbell right here. I'm going to give him what he wants with the jumbo formation, and I'm going to give me and you what we all want, and that is David Montgomery on the field. Daniel Campbell, Mr. Throwback, Mr. Football, Mr. Man, we're gonna bite your kneecap off, and then we're gonna smile at you, and we're gonna take you out of the deep end, we're gonna drown you, and I don't care if you got one ass cheek and three toes, I will beat your ass. Mr. Physical, Mr. Mauling offensive line. Let's really kick it back. Let's go as retro as possible. I don't want to see I formations. I don't want to see jumbo sets. Bring on the wing tee, baby. Bring on the wing tee. I want old school throwback wing tee football. Hell, go old school. Roll out there with just leather helmets and no face masks, baby, with big old canvas pants and sweaters for jerseys. If we're going to do it, freaking do it. As long as it gets David Montgomery on the fucking field, I'm all here for it. I just get so pissed off thinking about the lack of David. I like David Montgomery. I like him as a person. He seems like a great stand-up guy. And the numbers speak for themselves. Look here. At halftime, the Lions and the loss to the Rams, Monty and Gibbs went to the locker room with 6 carries apiece. Monty had turned to 6 touches into 31 yards. Respectable 5.2 yards per carry. Gibbs had only produced 19 for 3.2 yards. Very pedestrian. For the rest of the game, well, now what would you do? Well, now this is, again, no slight to Jahmyr Gibbs, but I got to go with the hot hand here, brother. This is a team effort. For the rest of the game, of course, we leaned into David Montgomery. He was able to get the ball, 6, 10 more times with a 5 yards per carry average. He ended up pushing 100 yards and a couple of touchdowns. Oh, no, never mind. He only had 1 carry for a 1-yard touchdown run on a direct snap. Well, there you go. Very productive, very big brain move right there. Gibbs carried it another 7 times, gaining again 19 yards for an even less efficient 2.7 yards per carry. Yes, and I know the situation. Detroit falling behind 2 possessions in a hurry likely dictated more Gibbs in the second half. This game was a microcosm of how Gibbs and Montgomery's dynamic has shifted in 2025. Compared to last year, Montgomery was averaging 3.5 fewer rushing attempts, 10 fewer rushing yards, and a 1.1 fewer receptions per game. While Montgomery typically started the game at 24, Gibbs has been the first back out there in all of 14 contests this season. Dan Campbell said on Monday, David is a pro. He goes out there about his business. He handles it. I know it's not easy. That's not easy. You're a guy he's a damn good back. Every good player wants their chance to help the team win and get some production, so I know it can't be easy. I know it's not easy, but he's a pro. He handles his business, and he goes about it. And whatever you call his number, he's ready to go. So is David a pro? Is he about his business? Does he handle it? Is he good? Is he a pro? Does he handle his business? Does he go about it? And whenever you call his number, is he ready to go? Like, I know what he's saying, and you guys know what he's saying, but could you imagine, like, a non-football player reading, or a non-football fan reading this, just going, what the fuck did I just read? Yes, he's about his business. It's not easy. You're a guy, he's good. Every good player wants their chance to win. It can't be easy, but he's a pro. He handles his business, he goes about it, and he's ready to go. Dude. Yeah, all you did was say one sentence and then repackage it and say it backwards, dude. Okay, Yoda. A pro David is. David is a pro. A business he goes about and handles it, he does. Easy it is not. No, that's not easy. He's a guy, a damn good back. Good player. He's a damn good player. He handles business. Business is handled. Like, what the fuck, dude? What the fuck? Exactly, dude. Oh, like, huh? Like, what the fuck did I just read, bro? Campbell admitted the offense operates better when Montgomery is a part of the mix. And he's been brainstorming ways to get him more production. Damn, dude. I can't. It's not rocket dentistry. Okay, guys? It doesn't take all that in a bag of chips. You can do it with just a bag of pretzels. Hell, you could just do it without. You could just do. Look, I'm doing it with a cup of coffee and a Zyn. Look, let me brainstorm. How do I get David Montgomery more touches? Probably put him on the field more. Print it. Run it. You know what I'm saying? Run it. Now, I did see some speculation because, Hat and Boob, she'd be digging, dude. She'd be digging all about the corners of the internet, finding little dirty details and stuff. Speculation could be we've reduced David Montgomery's role so that we have more grounds to break out of his contract and release him. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly, dude. Exactly. If we didn't know DC, it'd be like, what the hell? Tyrone Biggums, Mr. Campbell, you got any of that wishbone formation we can have? Exactly, you guys. Oh, American Boxer, you rewatched the game. Found some stuff, huh? The offensive line would look better if they were giving specific blocking schemes. Yeah, dude. Now, American Boxer, is that a coaching mistake or is that an execution mistake? There has been, and as much as I hate to admit it, he didn't come into the league as an all-pro ready to rip as a second-round pick. I was very high on Tate Ratledge, but we have seen him whiff a couple of times, miss blocks, bad communication. I don't want to hang blame on any one individual, but it is rather evident that our offensive line took a drastic setback when the tank retired. When the tank retired, it took, I don't want to say the brain completely away from the offensive line, but we put a lot on Frank Ragnow. We put a lot on Frank Ragnow, and he handled it magnificently. There is a big drop-off in the talent level, and clearly in the digestibility of what they're seeing on the defensive scheme and communication to the rest of the offensive line. Obviously, Deck and Sewell are going to be able to handle their own stuff. But, you got to, unfortunately, with Mahogany getting hurt or, in the middle of the season, you had a little bit of a turnstile at the left guard spot there between Awashiku, who can't keep his nose anywhere near his toes and sticks it so far out overhead that he's practically in the next time zone when he's in pass pro. You got Cologne, who up and down. Sometimes I love him. Sometimes I can't stand the human potato. And then, of course, Miles Frazier, who up until recently was never really available. So we've had to expedite his learning process while also trying to condition him through reps on the field. But what it really comes down to is I think without Frank there to really help develop the young players, to communicate things, to make it a lot easier for them, we put more on everybody else's plate. And I'm not saying they weren't ready for it, but they weren't ready for it. You know what I mean? We don't know, but we know, It came to me in a dream. Yes, American Boxer. I actually think that's a great idea, dude. If our offensive line, because so you notice a little bit of stiffness in our offensive line and their mechanics. You notice that, American Boxer? I think some jiu-jitsu would go a long way with those guys in the offseason. A little bit of stiffness in their movement. Speaking of offensive line and Christian Mahogany, oh, hey, hoo-ha-ha, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, ring that notification bell, and like the video, share this around. If you hit the share button, check this out. If you guys hit the share button, you could just copy it down on your clipboard below, and supposedly, rumor has it, I'm just checking around on some Google stuff, making sure. Okay, yeah. So according to the AI, if you share the video, if we're live and you share it kind of midway through the show, it encourages YouTube to push it up into the algorithm a little bit more. So it's something you kind of do, and you can just hit share and copy down your clipboard. You don't actually have to share it with anybody. But now getting into that, or now that's out of the way, let's get into the story here. As the Lions are 8-6, they gear up for a must-win date at the Pittsburgh against the Steelers, who are also 8-6 in their regular season home finale. The organization is optimistic that starting left guard Christian Big C Mahogany will make his long-awaited return. He's a second-year pro out of Boston College, and he started each of the first 8 games at left guard before carting off the field with a leg injury in the fourth quarter of Detroit's 27-24 Week 9 loss versus the Minnesota Queens. The 6'3", 375-pound offensive lineman began his week as a full participant in the Lions practice report. Now, I don't know about you guys. Can Mahogany play center? Now, why do I ask that? Personally, I like having a little tree stump down there at center. I don't need my center to be 6'5". I kind of like him having the built-in leverage already because they're playing at a little bit of a disadvantage having to snap the ball, not having their hand in the dirt, It gives them a little bit of a leverage advantage as well as keeps the line of sight for the quarterback, especially right over the middle of the field where it's already a little congested. It keeps the traffic down just a little bit. So I'm kind of in the camp of, can Mahogany switch over to center so that Glasgow can stay at the right guard spot, and then Frazier, who... oh, that boy mean. He can play right tackle if we absolutely had to. And then Cologne, I keep calling him Colin. Tristan Cologne maybe can develop into a right guard or a left guard spot, or Frazier plays a left guard spot, and then we go get one of those big, beautiful Alabama offensive linemen to play right tackle in the draft. Lions coach Dan Campbell commented on Mahogany's status on Wednesday. This is coming to us from the Lions official Twitter account. Let's go and check this out.
It's just a walkthrough today, but Mahogany was listed as full go.
Full go walkthrough today.
What are the chances he can be back this week, and what sort of lift can he give you when he?
Yeah, we're hopeful. We'll know a lot more tomorrow. I know by last week, certainly, it was okay. That looked pretty good, but also knew he wasn't ready. So we're hopeful. I don't. It's a good question. I'm hoping it looks pretty good. I hope he feels good. But we'll know more really by Friday. So full speed tomorrow, and Friday he'll go through, and then we'll see if he can go.
Well, there you go. We'll know. We will know. The Lions started Mahogany's practice window last week and listed him as a limited participant last Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and questionable to play before downgrading Mahogany to out on Saturday. We welcome Pittsburgh to Ford Field at 4:30 on CBS. Look at us. We will get Jim Nantz and Tony Romo. All right, look at it, man. Let me just hang on. Let me pull my fan out over here. All right, now I got my fan set up. I'm gonna blow a little smoke up your ass, a little silver lining to it. Think of how far we've come, guys. Let's be honest. We've gone from having blacked out games and almost exclusively 1:00 kickoffs to regularly being a sought-after prime-time fixture because of the viewership that the Lions draw across the country, across the league. And now we are regularly being slotted in 4:30 games, which are typically your more game of the week, hyped-up games. We are now a team that is marketable. And that is a good thing, okay? So, yes, it sucks where we're at this year. This year has been, for all intents and purposes, a sobering kick in the dick. And it's something you have to learn how to do. Ask Patriots fans. When you're the king, dude, when you're top dog, everyone's gunning for you, and you have to be professional about it. You have to understand not only can you handle yourself when you're winning, but we also then have to handle ourselves when we're air quote losing, right? We are still plus 500. We can still make the playoff push, guys. We can, and it would have been nice to get a big win against the Rams and have a little bit more breathing room, but now it's time to really have assholes meet elbows and get after it. A little bit harder when you're facing so many injuries in the secondary of your defense, which has been the Achilles heel of our defense for what feels like the entire tenure of Dan Campbell. Now, that is heavily to do with scheme. That is also not getting the pass rush that we are expecting out of guys like Aiden Hutchinson. We know that pass rushing can help cover up a lot of discrepancies on the back end. We've had a tremendous amount of injuries. Kirby Joseph, Brian Branch, Reed missing time, Arnold on IR. We never are ever going to know what Enos the Penis Rakestraw Breakstraw could have been. right? So we've had to kind of piecemeal it together, and we've seen drop-off in play of guys like Amik Robertson over the past couple of years, and that's unfortunate, but that's the nature of the game. And then we've had to have a mash unit for a secondary with guys coming in, coming out, coming in, coming out. But one of the guys that I very much liked will no longer be a part of the Detroit Lions organization. The Lions lost some key depth in their secondary when one of the bottom teams of the AFC poached a promising safety and spot starter. The Tennessee Titans have signed Erick Hallett from Detroit's practice squad, giving him the chance to join an active roster, but leaving the Lions with a hole in their secondary. The Lions still did fill some of the gaps, signing a new cornerback, but Hallett's departure could hurt the team at a time when they have no margin for error in the playoff race. Erick Hallett, predominantly a safety, but we've seen in preseason he can play all of the spots along the secondary. I liked what I seen out of Hallett. No, he wasn't Kirby Joseph or Brian Branch, but he had some, a little bit of a promise to him at times, a little bit of flash, but also getting cooked a few times. Hallett played his college at Pittsburgh and joined the Jags as an undrafted free agent in 23, and then he was signed by the Lions in 24, and Hallett started his first game in October of 25. He tallied the team with 8 tackles while playing 62 defensive snaps. Just so you guys are aware that now that he got signed from our practice squad away to another team, he will automatically be on their active roster. So he's getting this golden opportunity. Yes, it sucks because I'd rather see him here. I liked the guy. I liked what I seen out of him. But go get your opportunity. Make the best of it, bro. Go seize this opportunity. Go out there and play 3 games and have 3 interceptions over the next 3 games. Go do it. Then get a second contract, brother. Go make your bag, dude. We did sign Keenan Garber, though, replacing him on the practice squad. He's a 6-foot, 188-pound corner from Kansas State. Yeah, from Kansas State. And he was originally on the Vikings training camp early this year before as a undrafted free agent. So we say fairly well. Happy trails and very best of luck to you, Erick Hallett. Personally, I hope that he makes the best of his opportunity. I was a big fan of him around here at the Hat and Beard Show. So now we're going to take a little walk through here. We got a few minutes at the back end of the show. This is where we're going to kind of take a walk through Mad Hatter Nation and see what's going on with you guys. Trying to not get so lost in the sauce midway through the show. We're just trying something up. So I hope I'm not losing you guys in the chat. Just know that I'm not completely ignoring you, but we are a little bit trying a little bit different approach to the format. All right, what do we got here? I'll know more this afternoon. Other Eye will be in a month or so. Hell yeah, Rick. Well, I hope it goes well, dude. You let us know. You let us know tomorrow morning if you're able to. Let us know what you find out. Hopefully everything was absolutely great. Yeah, I'm sure you do need some sleep, brothers, but it's been a little bit of a stressful situation. I was told Tua is better than Goff. Montgomery is the backfield is answer to giving Goff time in the pocket. 100% American boxer. David Montgomery does have a lot better of a pass pro. Always feed the hot hand. Exactly, Rick. Exactly. Yes, Kane. If Frazier's kicking more ass than Cologne, I keep saying Cologne, or I keep saying colon when I need to say Cologne. Then let Frazier kick ass more often. I'm completely on board with you, Kane. I liked what I seen out of Miles Frazier. You know what I'm saying? I took judo in junior high school and understood how to use the opponent's weight against them. Helped me during football and fighting inside in boxing. Yes, American boxer, and that's why, a lot of times you'll see these, and I feel that the skill set translates better to interior offensive linemen and interior defensive linemen. But you'll see these, typically it's Iowa offensive lineman, big guy, heavier set, and they're, also a high-end wrestler in college or was a state champ in high school because the grappling, the maneuvering, the understanding leverage and how to use your opponent's weight goes a long way in understanding the mechanics of a game. And especially when you're in a combat sport like that, your reaction time is condensed, which also lends itself to beneficial in the offensive trenches, defensive trenches, because your read and react time is condensed a lot more than, say, a skilled position where they have a few steps to make something happen. That guy is right in front of your face. We're talking split seconds and able to react. And then on top of it, you got linebackers crashing down on top of you. You got to be able to slide off blocks, chip guys, react to different blitz packages, understand, analyze stuff. So speed, as well as having a built-in advantage of understanding mechanics, physics, people's weight distribution, their high points, their balance points, that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying, dude? I completely agree with you, American Boxer. I think the idea of jiu-jitsu or judo, or not judo, but any type of rolling, wrestling, that type of stuff, real physical grappling type shit, you know? Rodrigo was a wrestler, you know, and Brent, that makes perfect sense when you see, like, I always kind of thought Malcolm Rodriguez's tackling style, like, I didn't have anything against it. I just kind of noticed that he very much would like wrap up on guys like a fucking monkey. You know what I mean? Like, he got on, when he gets on you and takes them down. And that makes sense. If he was a wrestler, he's used to rapping, and taking guys down. That makes 100% then, Brent. That makes so much sense now. Yeah, the math is math in there 150%, boys. 150%. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm thinking. About 9 more minutes here before we got to call it a day. Is there any new news breaking? NFL news. Let's see if there's any new news coming out. Ew, gross. I don't want Matt Stafford to lock up his Hall of Fame. That's why all the hype is around Stafford. That's it. They want him to get this Hall of Fame lock. That's what it is. That makes sense. Brings around retirement. Oh. So what is this Joe Burrow? Like, is Joe Burrow for real going to retire? What the hell is this? I can't see that. No, Burrow said, all right, he's locked in for 2026. So asked if you ever thought about the possibility of not being a quarterback in Cincinnati at some point down the road. You think about a lot of things, Burrow said. Let's just watch his video.
Is there any world in your mind where you're not the quarterback of the Bengals next year?
I can't see that, no.
Have you ever thought about the possibility of not being the quarterback here?
Dude, what is going on?
During your career, or?
Okay, so apparently my internet's all fuckered. All right, then. Yeah, I plan to be here forever. Burrow isn't most of my players. He says what's on his mind. In the very same press conference, he says, "Have you ever thought about not playing and maybe just retiring?" I mean, you think about it, but you think about a lot of things in your life, just like everybody else does. Dude, stop trying to make like mountains out of molehills. Joe Burrow is just talking up here, and y'all are down here. Yeah, well, do you think about retiring? And he's just like, well, I mean, yeah, I mean, everybody thinks about retiring, right? That's like I always hated the question, have you ever thought about hurting yourself, you know, meaning self-deletion? And it's like, well, I mean, yeah, everybody's done that as a thought exercise at least once or twice in their life. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, well, not lie, yes, but not in the context that you think. You know what I'm saying? So Joe Burrow's like, oh, have you ever thought about retiring? He's like, yeah, I think about a lot in my life. I'm fairly quiet, so I often don't say a lot, and so people think I like to fill in the gaps here and there. I think about what I say a lot and don't necessarily care what comes of it. Creating drama. Exactly, dude. Hell yeah. Oh, what's up? What's up? You get it, Rick C. What's up, Riley? How you doing? Check out time. See y'all tomorrow. Rick C. Brother. Hell yeah, dude. God is good, dude. God is good. American Boxing. Yeah, dude. They're just creating drama. It's the same thing. How's this? I bet you that if Joe Burrow, so Grandma Wagon, Patrick Mahomes doesn't tear his knee up, we're having the conversation about Travis Kelce retirement, not Joe Burrow. This isn't even a story. If then Patrick Mahomes' knee doesn't get tore up, this is never even a story. But since Patrick Mahomes' knee got tore up, can't talk about Travis Kelce's future because the Chiefs are non-issue right now. They are a non-communicato. They are no point in talking about the Chiefs, right? So now we got to find something else. Well, Joe Burrow might retire. Oh yeah, Joe Burrow might. Yeah, Joe Burrow. Oh, Joe Burrow might now. Yeah, Joe Burrow. No, dude, look, he's just talking at a higher fucking frequency than you dipshits are able to comprehend, man. Like, my God, dude, reporting is so. Why do we even give these people fucking credibility, man? Oh, man, dude. We need to demand more out of reporters, bro. We need to demand much more out of these guys. This is fucking ridiculous. This is fucking ridiculous. Monty's a power runner. Every time he runs, he wears down the line. He's also a good lead blocker if you speed back and block her off guard. Hell yeah, Carrie. That's what I like to see, dude. That's what we like to talk about, dude. We do like Monty around here, guys. So that's going to be it for today. We talked about the Rams game. We talked about Tua getting benched. We talked about Dan Campbell finally understanding that, oh my gosh, I need to use David Montgomery more. It only took me 16 weeks. You know, I got this guy named David Montgomery. You know, he's really good. Maybe I should use him. Maybe I should try and get him on the field once in a while. You know what I'm saying? We talked about Christian Mahogany, hopeful return at the starting left guard spot ahead of the Steelers game, which would be a massive boon for us, especially if we want to try and seize our ever-dwindling playoff opportunities. And, of course, Erick Hallett. We talked about Erick Hallett, fan or favorite here at Hat and Beard Show. I liked Erick Hallett, and that's Hutch right there. But Erick Hallett got snagged off of our practice squad by the Titans. Good on him. Make the best of your opportunities, young man. Go and seize this golden opportunity and get yourself a big old contract extension, my dude. Very best of luck to you. Happy trails. Tip of the hat. No wag of the finger. That's going to be it for today, guys. If you haven't already, would you kindly walk on over to that subscribe button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Ring that notification bell so you can be notified every single time when we go live Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. here at youtube.com. Like the video. Share this around with every single person that you know. It's Thursday. We have hopefully not a super slop fest Thursday night game in store for you guys, which will probably dictate the number one seed of the NFC, at least with just so few weeks left on the docket. Hopefully the Seattle can win. I'm rooting for Seattle, but we'll see what the script entails. You know, I think America's going to be watching the refs on this game with a little bit more scrutiny than even the past few weeks, because that Colby Parkinson touchdown was just bananas, dude. The whole situation, just bananas. None of the media members start initiating a pool report. It's bananas. It's just fishy, dude. It's just fishy bananas, bro. And I ain't here for it. But that means after today, it's Friday. Oh, man, we are so close. We are coming around one slalom before we hit the last one, and then we're into the weekend, and then it's the holiday season. Ba-doop-a-doop-doo-doo, and I'm gonna get fat, and that's a fact. All right, guys, have a good rest of your day. Stay out of trouble. I've been Hat and Beard. You've been an attentive audience. Until next time, bonga bonga. Frig off.